Welcome back to Growth TV. I'm Carolyn Vallejo, and today we're welcoming back Emily Hack, who's Managing Director of Private Capital Markets at Insperity. Emily, let's dive right in. Let's talk about first some of the ways that a people strategy can mitigate business risk.
One hot topic when it comes to risk is employee turnover. We're hearing it in almost every board meeting. How do we reduce turnover? What do we do? And the first things, of course, to look at are compensation and benefits. Are we competitive in the market? But also, it's very important to focus on an intentionally positive culture. What are you doing to impact how the employees feel about working there and wanting to stay there? If your employee may be on the weekend at one of their kids' soccer games and they're asked, hey, what do you do for a living? Have you thought about what you can do to impact that response? If you think about me personally, if someone asked me that, I could say, oh, I work for Insperity, it's an HR company, and leave it at that. But more often when people ask me, my answer sounds more like, I work for this incredible company, Insperity. It's an HR partner that works alongside small businesses that drive our economy and support the families behind those employees. And I just love seeing what Insperity does from a positive perspective, impacting not only our clients, but me personally. That is a great expression of the Insperity culture on the weekend. And it does make it so I will hope to retire at Insperity. It's a great retention tool, but also I wouldn't underestimate it as a good recruitment tool, because I have people come to me pretty regularly and say, hey, how do I get a job at Insperity? Or, hey, can you help mentor my kid? Is there a way to get them inside the door at Insperity? It just sounds like a great place to work. The other thing when you talk about risk is the not so fun stuff. How do we make sure that you don't get fined or sued? And I would encourage you to be very particular about choosing an HR partner. Insperity does have that high touch feel that makes you think we're a smaller boutique firm. But if I had a company that I was entrusting a partner to protect, I want the multi-billion-dollar publicly traded machine that is Insperity corporate that's going to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. And when we talk about risk mitigation and a people strategy, we're talking about putting those policies and procedures in place so that you don't have to worry when tumultuous situations arise. Yes, we're there to help and support our clients through that. But if you put the right strategy in place, you can avoid those risky situations altogether.
All right, Emily, let's put this in the context of mergers and acquisitions. So how does a people strategy come into play in the M&A process, particularly when it comes to pre and post acquisition?
Oh, goodness. There are a multitude of human capital challenges to keep in mind pre and post acquisition. To name a few, you're looking for employee relations issues. You want to make sure that they're transferring appropriately to a benefits platform. The ownership changes are going to impact 401k, payroll taxes, all of those details. Does their employee tenure transfer? Does their PTO stay the same? How do we onboard them? And the overall communication. Because the last thing you want after a deal closes to have employee turnover. You want to have those details handled so that they don't become headaches at the end of the day, and that there's a higher likelihood that you are starting with an employee base in the newly acquired company that is ready to help you drive towards future growth metrics.
And finally, I really want to talk about how a consolidated infrastructure system, like the one that Insperity offers, can play into a people strategy.
Well, I think efficient business is good use of your money. So making sure that you have systems in place to drive your day-to-day business in general is a good thing to have. But when it comes to this arena, in the M&A world, it kind of depends on what your growth strategy is. Are you part of a roll-up that has a multitude of acquisitions every year? You want an infrastructure that can rapidly onboard and accurately transition employees from one place to another. If your goal is rapid expansion, then you better have an infrastructure that has all the policies and procedures for all 50 states set up and And heck, even having, payroll tax accounts established so you don't even have to wait for that. That's a benefit of a well-oiled infrastructure. Or if you're preparing for exit, having your employer-related compliance in order and the associated reporting in place can help you avoid getting dinged on those valuations at the end. A lot of our private capital partners tell us that Insperity is just that easy button. And if we've learned anything in the last 5 years is to expect the unexpected. And we take a lot of pride in knowing that we have both the technology and the people to help drive towards your goals and help navigate whatever is going to get thrown at us next.
Right. And I know every business today would probably love an easy button, especially in some pretty volatile times.
Absolutely.
Well, Emily, it's always a pleasure to have you on GrowthTV. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Always good to see you.